Decided to go with the buffalo horn tips instead of the antler tips. It's a little lower profile. Good afternoon. Today's February 14th, Valentine's Day. And I got the bow with that big hump. The hump is pretty much taken out now. It's fire hardened. I decided to go with the buffalo horn tips instead of the deer antler tips because it would have been a little more rounder. I want a little more streamlined on the end. And we're going to start the tillering process. You can see it's got a little back set there, and we're going to take it down a little past even. Okay, we're going to get the yardstick, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I have the fade outs marked. They're even from the center of the riser, from the string groove to where it's flat. Where it was flat, I marked. So I have an end mark here. I have a center mark, and we're going to check the bend on it. So here we go. Let's check the bend. Let me see if I can go down like this here. Here we go. Okay, we've got a pretty nice bend actually going on here. All right, we're going to check the other side. We got a pretty nice bend there. We're going to need a lot of weight reduction, a lot. So let's see what we got here. Okay, we got a nice bend. We're going to take some material off of here, very little bit. We want the inner limbs a little stiff. We don't want to go crazy with the inners until we get down a little further. All right, well, we're going to look at it one more time. A little here. Okay, I'm going to remove some material and see what it looks like. Okay, don't forget, black locust is an irritant and poisonous. So I had a problem with the goggles, dust getting in, a little fogging up. So I bought this thing. And we got the mask, and I'm going to take off material. Got that out of the way. Snow's melting, and we're going to get more snow. Okay, so I took some material off where the low spot was. Let's see what it looks like. We got it marked here from the fade out to the end here. And we got kind of a nice bend going on there from what I could see. All right. Up to the top line there. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we got to take a little bit more off here. Let's see how far this is going down. Okay, just about the same. Okay, we're going to take off that little bit of material and then come back. It's a back and forth process. Watching me do this is like watching paint dry, but you only want to go down an inch at a time. You want to go just a little past level. Have all your marks from the fade outs to where the bend starts in the midpoint. Back and forth. Here we go. These marks with a loose string are just a reference point. So at some point we could check the scale and see how many pounds we got pulling down. We don't want to go too heavy, you know, we don't want to go way over your intended weight. Let's see what we got here. Okay. We got a super nice bend going on. Pretty much a mirror image going on here. Let me stand back and look at it a little more. Okay, there's actually just a little, I don't know if it's just a little bit of material here. Could be just the knot, optical illusion there. Okay, look at this. We got another beautiful mirror image going on here, see? Okay, another beautiful mirror image. We're going to go down another inch. Very heavy. We're going to definitely take off weight before we go down any more. Let's check this one here. Right now, we're at this mark, just for reference, is 18.5. And the goal is to get it down to here, like where we could put a string on. So let's check out this image we got here. Looks good, looks beautiful. Still looks good, looks beautiful. Now normally when you got that beautiful mirror image, you could go down more. But there is just so much weight on this, it's ridiculous, okay? The other thing I do at this point in time, because it's a recurve, I look at the limbs. The string's out of the groove here. Let me try this again. Gonna make sure the strings are in the grooves. Sometimes you might have to change the angle of the string grooves if it's popping out. But let's see. Let's see what we got here. Now that's where it's supposed to be. Let's just double check. We got a really nice looking bend. Let's see what we got over here. We got a really nice looking bend over here too. So what I got to do is weight reduction. So, and I'm going to look at these limbs and see how they're twisting or whatever. This one isn't bad. This looks pretty good. Too early to tell on this one. It could be leaning over a little bit. We'll have to see. For tillering purposes, you could use 60 grit sandpaper, and wherever you mark, start in the middle and go back and forth flush and expand out, okay? And you don't have to use power tools. I'm experienced with this, all right? And I have to be careful, and could I make a mistake? Absolutely. And when I use this, I have to make sure that each side is the same thickness. I don't lean it over, but I'll show you what I do. I'm going back and forth from the mark here to reduce weight, and I just go back and forth like this, okay? Okay, that was just 10 strokes, but I got to do like 30 more. It was 45 pounds at that 17.5 mark, and I took off some material. Let's see what we got. 39, okay, 39. All right, so we're going to go down, and we're going to check with the yardstick now. Went down to 18. You put the marks on here for a reason. I have to flip it around. Let's see what we have. We got a beautiful bend going on there. Looks beautiful, right? We got another beautiful bend going on. Gonna take it down another inch. We're still not ready for a string yet, and it's still a little heavy. Okay, looking back, nothing really jumps out at me. Looks like a nice bend. Okay, looking at this here. Let me see, maybe a little over here will take off. Get the pencil out. Pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Just a little couple passes here. Just a couple of little passes here. That's all. Coming along really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. No whiz ready for a string yet. Okay, much better. Much better. Looking good, but I kind of think it needs a little bit more here. Since there's really not a lot of stress, I'm going to measure down and see how far it is to the center here compared to each limb. It's like 1 1/16. It's like 1 1/16 to the center. This is 1 1/8. So this limb here needs a little bit more bending. Let's check it out, see what it looks like. Okay, pretty much we got that mirror image going on here. Show you in a minute. There we go. A little better view. Looking good. Let's try over here. Okay, I got a little more bend going out of there. We're going to measure this one more time from the center. Okay, we've got 1 1/8 going on here. And we got 1 1/8 going on here too. Very good. Okay, we're going to go down another inch. We're getting to the point where we're going to put a string on soon. We're almost there where we can put a short string on. Let's check it out. Looks good. I don't want to take nothing else off. It looks good. Don't want to take nothing else off. I'm going to go down one more. And then we're going to weigh it. And see how much weight I got to take off. Okay. All right. We're just about at that. We're just about at that point where we could put a string on it. Let's just check it out. All right, there's nothing that seems to jump out at me. Nothing that seems to jump out. We're going to see how many pounds it is. Now remember, this isn't the actual draw length. This string is just a reference right now at this point in time. So at this point in time, it's 22.5 is the mark we got to pull down to check the pounds. 49 pounds. Okay, with all my injuries, I had a hard time. I couldn't string it. I couldn't put the short string on it for a brace height string. It's a little too much weight, so I put a shorter string on. The shorter string now, we're just going to check it out. Nice bend. Nice bend. It's 47 pounds. It's 47 pounds at where I would put a string, okay? 47 pounds. So I got a lot to go to take down yet. I got to take down some more weight. You know, when I'm trying to string it and I couldn't get it, I knew it was just too much weight. I've been going back and forth with weight reduction and trying to even out the limbs. Okay, 1 3/4. One 3/4. Let me see what weight we have now here at this with the you know, not a super long string. And we're going down to would it be the top of the 21.5. Let's see what we got for weight. Okay, we got 41 pounds. 41 pounds. I guess I could try to put I'm going to try and put a shorter string on, see if I'm able to do it. Okay, I was finally able to remove enough weight, get a string with a 5-inch brace height on it. You see how even or not even it is. Get around 6 here at the fade out. 6 1/4 at the fade out here. So 6, 6 1/4. That's actually 6 1/8. Mid limb is 5 1/4. Mid limb is almost 5 1/4. So this inner limb has to go more. Okay, with this 5.5-inch brace height, we're going to go down a little, just check it out. We got a nice bend going on. Nice bend going on. Okay. You pull down a little bit more. I don't like that sound. I heard something. All right, I'm going to take it off and look at it. I heard something going on. I heard something and I feel a little bit rough right here by this knot. Not a lift, not nothing, but there's 2 little pin knots here. And I'm going to stop it. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to sand this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some rawhide here as a precaution because of the dips and everything I went through. Like I said, I'm going to hand sand this. And we're going to put some rawhide in, and then we're going to come back another day and tiller it and see how it holds up. Okay, I don't want to take a chance. I put too much time and effort in this, and if a little rawhide will keep it together, I'm good with it. Okay, as I was tillering this, I heard a little creak. And over here where these pin knots are, I felt like a little rise. So I'm sanding it down. I have rawhide soaking over here for an hour. And I've got Type Bond 3. I'm going to let it drink up in the wood here. And as we go down here, I looked over the whole thing. There's just a couple of these little pin knots here too that I'd rather just have the rawhide go down a little further up to here just to cover them too. Okay, but as I go look through it, it don't look too bad. And I'd rather be safe than sorry. I put a lot of work into this. And as long as you leave a little bit off the tips, and these are thin limbs, it should still be pretty snappy. So that's it. We're gonna rawhide it. When the time's up, I'll show you. When you get your rawhide strips, one side's gonna be smooth like it's finished, and the other side's gonna be like fleshy. So I use a 320 sandpaper and I sand that fleshiness off. If there's a lot of flesh, if you happen to get one that's not that clean, you can use a cabinet scraper and scrape it and then sand it with the 320 till it's nice and smooth. And then you have to soak it for an hour in water. Not hot water, because it'll ruin it. Just soak it in like warm water. Then this is a disc, a 36 grit disc, and you scuff up the whole limb, which I did already. And then I put tape from the center out where I want it. And what I try to do is, I know that this is the top limb. I'll show you. I mark the top limb. And once I mark the top limb, I want the overlap. When you put this rawhide on, you're going to put it down, and I want and there'll be a seam, and then it'll overlap over it. And what I want is, I don't want this anywhere where I'm going to grip it. I want the overlap to be on top of my hand. Okay, so that's how that works for me. This just washes away. Just this washes clean from your hands. Nice cleanup, and all you do is just rub it on, and this wood will drink up this glue. And you see how I put the tape there, so it's easy cleanup. And once we put this on and drink it up, I'm going to dip my hand in the water and put a little water on here to help it drink up some more, because we want this glue to get into the wood. It'll help build up the wood, make it a little stronger, make it a little more binding friendly. Okay, and we're going to take that rawhide strip and that fleshy part that we sanded, that's going to be faced up, and we're going to put glue on that too. And then we're going to lay it down, and we're going to squeegee it on. Okay. But for now, what we're going to do is just keep on massaging this in, rubbing it in. You want to get it in. We're going to let the wood drink it up. Okay, you can feel the wood drinking it up. Dip your hand in a little bit of water. Right, make sure that that glue gets into the wood grain, and it's not too thick. It drank it up over here already. Okay, we're going to we got a lot of paper towels, you know, and we're going to wipe along the edge here. Okay, we're going to keep on doing this for a little bit. I'm going to let it drink up. I'm going to pause this here. I'm going to do this for about 5 minutes. I want to make sure that we get enough of this glue that penetrates into that wood. I've been massaging it in, letting it drink up. I got a clamp here holding that rawhide down. Two nice pieces of rawhide that I got sanded here. Okay. See, one side's finished, the other side's the fleshy part. The fleshy part goes up. There's always one side that's a little thinner and one side that's a little thicker. Okay, I put the thinner side out towards the limb. Okay, you're going to keep adding glue, keep this nice and wet. Get a little wetness here. It does drink it up, it really does. The wood, it's good that it's getting into the wood. Okay, so back to this here. Now before we put anything on it, now like I showed you, one side's thinner, one side's thicker. What we're going to do is going to stretch it out, pull it down, stretch it wide. We're going to work it out, and then I'm going to glue it up. Let me stop it here because it's going to take a couple of minutes for me to stretch it out. Okay, I have both pieces stretched out. I'm going to put some glue on this now. We're putting glue on the side that we sanded, the fleshy side, I'll say. Okay. This really drinks it up. Sorry it takes so long, but it is what it is, and you want to make sure that you got enough glue and that it's wet. Okay. Now we're going to take this here and we're going to lay it down, clear off the tape so we can see where it's going to slide up to. Okay. See how I slide my hand down, stretching it down, sliding it down. Okay, I'm going to cut it on the upper third on this because it's the top. Okay, now we're going to make a nice even cut across here. Okay, nice. Now the other thing is you use a squeegee, anything. You could use a flat spackle knife, anything for a squeegee. Okay. I don't wrap it. I don't like the lines. This works just fine for me. Now we're going to do the other side. Once again, we'll make sure that it's nice and wet. Should be a little tacky actually, you know. And it is. So that's a good thing. Let's see. One side's thick, one side's thin. We got the thin side laying towards the tip. Okay, here we go. I'll lay this down like this here. See where the tape edge is. and we want this to overlap. So we're going to see, we're going to cut a nice line, straight line overlapping. Make sure it's nice and straight. Do a little better job trimming it. Okay, here we go. That'll do. Okay. Get the squeegee. Now what I like to do is I'll get a wet rag right from here, wet paper towel, right? Clean this up here where the seam is. Get a dry paper towel. Now I'm going to wipe underneath along the edges that I squeegeed this. I'll lay my hand on top like that and wipe. Once again, we don't want to sand off big glue globs. Big glue globs. Okay. Pretty good, looking pretty good. It's really quite simple. And, you know, for everybody that says you got to wrap it, I haven't wrapped any yet. I wrapped a couple and I had those lines, those creases, and I said I'll never do that again. Okay? I'm just going to make sure it's down good. And if you use your hands, you could feel that it'll take the contour of the wood. Okay. And where it overlaps, don't worry about it. You'll be able to sand that smoother. We just take this off. Take this off. Make sure it's one last check to make sure we got it all good. Take a quick peek at it, quick peek. Looking good, right? Looks good. And tomorrow when this is dry, we'll use a box cutter to take this material off and sand it. Okay, it's 11 o'clock the next day. It's cold out. We're going to have snow starting at 3 o'clock. So my goal is to try and get this trimmed and sanded the way I want, and we'll see. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get it tilled, but I'm going to see how far I get. Okay, so I just want to show you. Here's the rawhide that's laid down without being wrapped. Okay, got a box cutter. Slide it flat down. We're trying not to cut into the wood. Yep, have to pick that one up. Shot off the deck. Okay. See the nice straight edge? And that's just with a box cutter, okay? I'm going to trim the rest of the bow up and I'll show you. So I just want to show you it's all trimmed up, like really trimmed up good, nice with the box cutter. Slid it along, okay? And right here where the seam is, okay? What I have here is 320 grit sandpaper. And I'm sanding the seam. See the seam? And I'm going to spend some time and kind of make it a little lower, a little less of a step. Make it a little more of a transition. And what I am going to do is go out on the belt sander just for a little bit and just touch the sides up to clean them up real quick. Just slide them along. It'll make it easier. And then I'm going to sand it. Okay, so I went in the garage and I hit this on the side on the sander, the belt sander, real quick, very lightly, and look how nice it cleans it up. Okay, it really lessens the amount of sanding time I have to do. So now I got this 320 grit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it with 320. I'm going to try and make this transition smoother, okay? And I'm going to clean up this whole strip of rawhide on both sides, and I'll get back to you and show you what it looks like. Then we're going to hit it with 4/0 steel wool. Just want to show you what I do. I have this super glue, and I just, as I sanded it, look, it's already sanded pretty much. I'm going to sand a little more, but as I get close, I want to put just a little bit of this super glue just along the edge here. Okay, just along the edge. Okay, and going to let it dry. Let me give you a close-up what it looks like after using the 320. Okay, I put a little of that glue just along the line there. I'm not going to touch that. I'll do that after I'm done tillering it. And I'm just going to sand a little more and steel wool it. But look, took off any of these color spots. And now we're going to take 4/0 steel wool. And we're going to work it with the 4/0 steel wool, but I want to show you. See how polished it is with the 4/0 steel wool? See how rough it looks? See the difference? So we're going to spend a little time polishing this rawhide with 4/0 steel wool, and I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, I'm done with the 4/0 steel wool. You can see the difference. It's almost like transparent in some spots. Okay. Okay, I gave it a quick wipe so it's wiped clean. And you know the marks I had, right? The marks I have by the fade outs. What I did was I transferred the marks on the bottom. This way I can just reposition them again. And the reason I did that is because I knew once I sanded the sides or I put it on the belt sander to clean it up, they'll disappear. But now all I have to do is carry the lines over. Carry them over the marks, you know, carry them over and remark the limbs. And I'm going to go till this. Just a reminder, when I went outside to sand this on the belt sand, I put a mask on. And for the most part here, it's dead calm. You heard me say this before because we had a lot of storms, but it's the calm before the storm. And I'm sanding the rawhide. So I wasn't worried about dust blowing up. It's very calm. And it's all cleaned up nice. We're going to go out and till this. Since I rawhide back this and I sanded the sides, I had the marks underneath. I transferred the marks back on so we have marks for tillering with the yardstick. And even though this was tilled with a string on it, because I added the rawhide, we're going to start over. I'm going to go down a little bit and we're going to just check the bend out. Okay, even with the rawhide, we still have a perfect bend, okay? We still have that perfect bend going on. I'm going to pull down a little bit more. We still got a perfect bend. That's just micro tillering. It held up even with the rawhide. Perfect bend, okay? I feel safe now that I can put that string on it. I'm going to string it up and we're going to get the limbs even and start working. We've got a string on it and I'm measuring from the marks I had from the fade outs. They're the same. From the midsection, this is the bottom limb here. It's reading about 6. And this one here, the top limb is 5 3/4. So I have to make this one bend a little bit more. Okay, a little bit more. I'm going to take off some material here. So a little slight change. Okay, I got it even now. Mask and gloves. The dust is poisonous and an irritant. Okay, let's pull it down a little at a time. See if it goes good. Use the yardstick. And then we're going to try and get it to the weight and draw length we need. I'm hoping that this rawhide made it bulletproof. Just so you know, there was no grain lift, no splinter. It was just by the pin notch, there was some rough. And I heard a creak, and hopefully I caught it before anything happened. Okay, let's check it out real quick. We got a beautiful bend. Beautiful bend. We don't want to keep it there long. This is a 23-inch draw right now, okay? And we got a brace height that's 5.5. I think I'm going to tighten up the brace height just a little bit more before we proceed. Okay, we got a 6 1/4-inch brace height. I pulled it down. I checked it quick with the yardstick. It still looks good. We're going to see what kind of weight we got as we pull down. We got 44 at 24, which is a good hunting weight for me. What we're going to do is just, I'm going to pull down quick. Take a look. Looks beautiful, right? Okay, what I'm going to do is shape the riser, cut a shelf out, and we're going to shoot it. We're going to shoot it in. Here's the rough cut. Going to file it, sand it, show you. Okay, just want you to take a look at it. Look at the riser. We're going to put a string on this and we're going to go shoot it. After I shape it and sand it, I always put a string on and just recheck the tiller, make sure everything's equal, because you are removing material, sand it smooth, and then we're going to go in the back and shoot. Have to put a serving on that string. Okay, double checked everything. Tiller stayed the same, everything's fine. We're going to go out in the back and shoot this after I put a serving on. Okay, the bow works great. There's no noises. The rawhide back took care of everything. I don't know what that noise was, but I decided to rawhide back it to just make sure it's safe, make it bulletproof, and it works great. My little hand scale pulling back is 39, almost 40 pounds. And I have these 600 spine velocity arrows that I think are around 281 grains, something like that. And this will be the first time he's shooting this bow. And we're going to start close at the deer with the bear target there. That's probably about, I would say that's 15 yards. So let me see if you can see me. Wow, it flew really fast, like really fast. It flew over the deer target and hit the bag target behind. Okay, so now I know I got to aim a little lower. Put the point below that deer target. Look at the speed coming out of this bow. The last 7.5 inches don't have rawhide. It's a thinner limb design. It's super fast. They're kicking out of there. All right, going to put another one there. I'm aiming below the deer target like a soda can below the deer target. So let's see. Look at that. I mean, that's super, super fast. These bows, fire hardened locust bow, that was a living tree. Even with the little bit of rawhide to keep it my little insurance policy, it's screaming. Screaming. So let's see. This will be a good hunting bow. I'm sure these will blow right through a deer. All right, now those deer with the bag target there is 20 yards. And since I had to aim so low, I'm going to aim like the bottom, what would be the bottom of the 10 ring on that, and see what happens. High. It is screaming. Okay, I'm going to, at 15 yards, I'm going to put the point on, actually on the belly. Let's see, I'll put it right on the belly, see what happens. Look at that. Kicking butt. Really flying good, man. So happy with this. Turned out awesome, you know. Can't beat this fire hardening. This was a live tree, and it's kicking. You see how fast, even with the rawhide, it's kicking it out there. All right, let's just move over. That deer is like 25 yards back there. And I'm glad I beat the snow. We got snow coming, more snow coming. I'm sick of this cold weather. I should have been a southern boy because I hate the cold. So here we go. All right, normally I put it on top of the deer's back at this range, kind of like. I'm going to put it on the back strap, just a hair lower. Let's see what happens. Flew really high. I'm going to put a point on. Point on at 25 yards. Wow, let's see. High again. All right, I'm going to shoot that over again with you guys watching. But it's a screamer. Screamer, screamer, screamer. Really happy with this. I'm actually surprised. It's too cold. It's going to snow. Some other day, maybe in one of my videos, you'll see a chronograph on this. Because the little curves that I make, if you have big curves, it'll put too much stress here. And you want everything kind of working together. To make it faster, you want some stress on the wood. And these smaller curves just work out great for speed. And the small limb design, I really don't recommend thin limbs like this for a recurve, but it's working. All right, let me get them one more time and then we'll be done. Okay, hit or miss. This is the last round. Put the tip like a soda can under the deer at 15 yards. I'm going to go to the belly of the deer at 20 yards. Okay, it's still high. I'm going to do like a tuna can below that deer. So, wow, it's screaming. That's all I could say. It's screaming. I'm going to touch the belly on that deer wherever it goes at 25. It's just so fast. I'm going to touch the belly and we'll see what happens. Okay, hit the spine. I'm going to try one more. It's super, super fast. Then I'll show you the arrows. Okay, I went a hair lower that time, a little bit below the belly. All right, let's go check it out. I love this thing, by the way, okay? And what I'm going to do is just go over this with steel wool one more time. I had bought some dye that's burgundy dye, like wine color. And I got a test piece. I'm going to see how it comes out. But I think it'll look pretty cool with like a reddish color in the fall. It'll blend in. So we'll see. That may be the color. I'll show you the bow after I finish it. But very happy. And you see that rawhide? I'm telling you, it's not slowing this bow down. Not at all. Just added protection to it. No noises, no nothing. It's shooting great. Let's check it out. Okay, the left to rights are really good. I aimed about this low. See the tip of my bow? That's about where I aimed, and that's where I hit. Okay, over here, I aimed a little below, like a tuna can distance below the belly, and I hit here. All right, because the first one went super fast, high. This one, I was aiming for the lower third, and this one, I put right on the belly. Okay, so I'm really happy. I'm going to finish it and stain it, and I'll just put a picture of this, you know, the bow finished, you know, because I think it's going to come out really awesome. And just want to tell you, every day you wake up is a good day. Make a bow, get out and shoot. Watch all my other videos. You know, there's little pieces here and there, information that'll help you make a bow. And, you know, some guys frown, oh, you heard a noise? Well, that's normal. Well, maybe, maybe not. But you see what the rawhide did, right? The rawhide gave it that extra protection. And I really don't care. I got an awesome bow. And you saw, you know, you probably never see anybody sanding the back of the rawhide, right? The part that's away from you. But I sand it with that 320, and then I use that steel wool and polish it up. And you see how nice it comes out, right? And if you have a little lift, like when you're sanding or whatever, don't worry about it. You just put a little, you could put a little crazy glue. If you got time, you could put a little more of that type on there. Just let it stay overnight, and it's going to be fine. And I'll show you the leather dye finish when I'm done. What color? I don't know. Could be burgundy. So we'll see. Okay? Thanks for watching. Well, at least I beat the snow. Okay, I mixed a little burgundy with a little dark brown just to darken it up a little bit. And I'm going to try that. Okay, the burgundy was a little bright. So what I did was I added some brown with it. And we got a little darker red. We'll see how it looks when it dries. And then I'll put some soft satin polyurethane on it. But I think it came out good. There's one or two spots where I guess there was a little glue like here. And I could always sand that and add a little dye on it later. This is the final coat of warm satin polyurethane. I made a nice matching string, black and red. Came out good. That's the end of this video.